This is Scott Roby from Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts, and you're watching the Astute Tourist Channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen, aka Jen.Cohen. You're watching the Astute Tourist Channel here on YouTube.
I'm Nancy Saulnier of Lake Alfred, Florida, and you're watching the Astute Tourist Channel.
Hey, I'm Bill Merrill from Windham, New Hampshire, and you're watching the Astute Tourist Channel.
Hi guys, this is Mr. Tranquilo, and you are watching the Astute Tourist Channel. Enjoy it.
Good morning, everybody. I am Jimmy, your astute tourist. Welcome to Thursday Morning Cup of Joe. It is a cloudy, gray, wet, humid Thursday morning. It is June 29th, 2023, and welcome to the live stream. Thank you guys for coming in. I want to go right over to the chat. Jen Cohen is here. Good morning, Jen. She says, good morning, Jimmy and the astute crew. Happy pre-Friday. And you are right. It is pre-Friday. We're on our way over the hump, on our way to the weekend. Good morning, Jen. It's good to see you. Scott, Lone Cross MTP is here. It's good to see you, my friend. My mom is here. Good morning, Mom. Coming all the way from Central Florida. I hope everything is good. Jen is saying hi to Scott and my mother, and they are saying hello back to each other. Jen says it's pouring in Chicagoland. Yeah, we've been having some crazy weather. Currently, the weather here in southern New Hampshire is 63 degrees, and this says it's going to be mostly sunny today. I don't know about that. Let's see. The clouds are coming in around 4 or 5 o'clock. Well, we may be on the upside with the rain. They're not calling. Doesn't look like they're calling for rain at all today, and that was different from what last night's forecast said. So maybe some things have changed in the weather overnight, which is good. They did cancel the fireworks last night. I could have done the Hump Day cocktail hour, but we didn't want to take any chances. So we'll be back next Wednesday at our regularly scheduled time, 6 p.m. On Wednesday. What is the date? The date next Wednesday. It's going to be the 5th, so it'll be the day after Independence Day. Wednesday the 5th. So we'll be back then with our Hump Day cocktail hour. So yeah, yesterday was a rainy, really crazy wet day. Downpours. We're talking a lot of rain. We've had a lot of washouts here. There's been local flooding. Roads are washing out. Like I said yesterday, it's been raining cats and dogs, and it's been crazy. But they're saying sun. Looks like there could be some breaks in the clouds. But they're talking sun today. So today or tonight is the rain date for the fireworks here in southern New Hampshire. So most likely, according to what the forecast says, we're probably going to be a go for tonight. So that's exciting for some. I'm going to have to work, but that's okay. Work is a good thing. So. Good morning to Shirley from Glitter World. Glitter bombs to you, my friend. It's good to see you. And I should say fireworks to you because it is pre-Independence Day. And for me, this is a special time of year because it really reiterates and solidifies and everything that I believe in and everything that I talk about all year long. Consider myself an American patriot, and this is just the huge celebration of our nation and our nation's history and our birth and all of that. So working on a new video for a Revolutionary Minute. I don't know if any of you guys are aware. I did play one the other day. I've created a video series called A Revolutionary Minute, and it's going to chronicle a 1-minute segment of U.S. American Revolution history, pre-Revolution and then during and right after the Revolutionary War. I think it's important. I think that for the most part, people have lost touch with the history of our country and the founding beliefs in that. I try not to be too political on my show, which politics are just, it brings everybody down most of the time. But I think it's important that we don't forget our history. There's so many factions in this country today that are trying to erase our history. And I've taken it upon myself, at least in my small little media outlet here, to try to at least make sure and remind folks of our past and how we got here. So I think it's important. But good morning to everybody. I want to say good morning to, let's see, Captain and the Squad is here. Good morning. Great to see you as well, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Law Jones is here. Good morning, Law. Law is saying good morning to Jen, Lone Cross Glitter, and Miss Nancy. Shirley says, smash that like button and show our host some love. I appreciate that, Shirley. Thank you. That reminds me always. You always remind me to take care of business. Paul S. Vines from PSV Odyssey is here. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for all you do. I want to give a big shout out to Paul because he's every day on his Facebook page. He posts the schedule for the following day, and I haven't been scheduling my live streams in a few days until the same morning before. So I need to hop on it, but he's been doing a great job with that and letting us all know who's going to be live today. So my hat's off to you, and let's have a big morning cup of Joe salute to Paul this morning. Thank you, Paul. Cheers to you, my friend. Best sip of the day. Deserves to. That is some hot cafe, and it's good. Best served hot. But good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in. It is Thursday, June 29th, in our year of the Lord, 2023. And my goodness, I'm looking at the wall, and I see a reflection. The sun is shining. The clouds are breaking, so who knows? We could have maybe have a sunny weekend here for our 4th of July. What's everybody doing this weekend? Are you going to be celebrating the 4th this weekend? Any family barbecues? We don't have any specific plans, but I know right now I'm going to open the tiki bar if the sun's out. And you're all welcome. Come on over. Come hang out at the tiki bar this weekend. I'm most likely going to have to work Sunday as well, so I'll get Saturday anyway. Sunday is another fireworks celebration, and I'm part of the code enforcement, so I have to make sure that these fireworks folks follow the rules and do what they're supposed to do, and we'll keep everybody safe. So, but Saturday I hope to be grilling on the grill, maybe have a couple libations. A little celebration, some strawberry shortcake. I don't know what it is, but the 4th of July always reminds me of strawberry shortcake with blueberries on it as well. So red, white, and blue, right? So yeah, so that's I think what we're gonna do. Like I said, we don't have any specific plans. It's just because I end up working typically this weekend, but Monday will be the 3rd, and I'll work Monday, and we'll have Tuesday off. So it's weird. I'll go to work a couple days, have a day off, and then I'll be back again. But do you have the weekend off? Do you have this week coming? I know when the kids were little, we always would take this following week off. We would go to Maine. There's an island up there on a lake. The lake is Sebago Lake, and we would spend a week or sometimes 2 on this island called Fry Island. And we would bring our boat. You'd have to get on a ferry and take the ferry from the mainland over the island. And then once we got there, you pretty much park the truck, and you could take the boat anywhere you wanted to go. There was stores and shopping on the mainland. We would take the boat, or on the island there's a store there and a shop, and there's a golf course with a 19th hole. A lot of fun. We've had a lot of good times in the past on our 4th of July weekends and week, and you know, time marches on, as they say. The kids are growing up, and we no longer have the boat, so we need to make some new memories. But I got to get some of the kids at work to maybe take over for me. That way I can have a little bit of a longer 4th of July weekend. 4th of July is like Christmas for me in a way. I like this holiday, and as you know, I talk about the history a lot, so it does mean a lot to me. But what will you be doing this weekend? Are you going to do anything fun? Paul says a little positivity. You're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. That's right. I remember that skit from Saturday Night Live. That was Al Franken, I believe, right? Good stuff. Always good to laugh. Paul, thank you for putting the link out there. He's got the our link for our swag store up there, which of course you're always reminding me of taking care of business. So here's the link here for our spring store, Teespring store. You can check that out, and the link is right there. So we'd appreciate your support if you want to go on over and pick yourself up a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a pint glass. The pint glasses are great. We have a couple of them. And you can have your cocktail, your mocktail, whichever you prefer, in your pint glass. And we appreciate your support for that. You can also head over to our Etsy store. This is just this is the link for the mug. I need to put the link, the full link for the store up there. But you can go over and you can get one of these shirts here at our Etsy store. I'm producing a line of patriotic t-shirts. This one just happens to be the Minuteman 1776 with a circle of stars on it and the American flag on the shoulder. So show your patriotism this 4th of July. Go over to our Etsy store. Pick yourself up a t-shirt or 2. We do appreciate your support. And this is just to show you, this is our Teespring store here. I can't show you the full thing. I don't know why it won't. It's the problem with this one is I can't interact. I'm going to try to use the jump over quickly this weekend and work on maybe using that streaming platform that Sean had suggested the other morning, and try that out and see how that works. See if it's a little more intuitive than this. But yeah, there's our storefront there at teespring.com. So go on over there and check that out. So if you want to support us in another way, you can go to our PayPal account, and 100% of your donations will go directly to the channel, and we do appreciate that. We appreciate your support that way. You also can support us by giving us a super chat, a super sticker, a super thank you, and becoming a member of our channel. Members get things like member perks. You get a hats off and that. So let's do this now. Big shout out to all our members. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. And all of your generous support goes to help support the channel. And it gives us the means to be able to bring you the content that we're providing, especially our new feature, which is a Revolutionary Minute, which I'm somewhat proud of. And if you guys like that, or if you have any other idea for content, something that I can do within my means, please either send us a comment to theastutourist@gmail.com, or send us a Facebook message. Most of us are on there. And let us know what you think, and then help create some content for us, because I'm here for you guys. Not just here for me, but I'm here for you, and I want to make sure that everybody gets a little bit of something that they like. So, all right, the question was, what are you doing this weekend? Scott says, this weekend is my time to catch up on sleep that I lose during the week. I only get 4 hours a night due to 2 jobs. My goodness, Scott, I didn't know you worked 2. What do you do? Tell me what you do for your job, Scott, if you don't mind. My mother says they're having a cookout at the clubhouse, so she's getting together with her neighbors. That sounds like a lot of fun. There's a good group down there. I hung out with them this spring. That's nice. And they had an auction there to help raise some funds, and Colleen ended up winning a couple things at the auction. So Paul says, I'm playing music Sunday at a July jam, and maybe playing Saturday. Well, that sounds fantastic. There's always time for music, right, my friend? Music is life, and music is love. It's definitely one of the best mediums on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. Good morning to Najuma Brown. Good morning, Najuma. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. It's good to see you as well. I hope all is well with you and the grandbabies and the family and all of that. So, let's see. Who's the next Minute in History personality? Well, I think this week, or I started, so I have a couple ideas. It's not going to be a person. It's going to be a place or a thing, which we have a couple ideas. I think I started working last night on one. It doesn't mean we're going to put it up next, but I'm going to be working on a video of the Green Tavern in Boston. And the Green Tavern, as the story goes, is the place where the revolution was born. Fellas like Paul Revere and some others got together over a mug of ale, and they sparked the idea of having a revolution. And so the Green Tavern is, the Green Dragon Tavern is a pivotal place in our history, because that's where some of our founding fathers and our patriots got together, and they talked about and started this revolt against the king and the British Empire to win our freedom and our liberty here in the United States. The other one is the place where the shot heard round the world was. Have you heard of that? The shot heard round the world. That was on Lexington Green, down in Lexington, Massachusetts. And it's where some patriots had gathered to protect some gunpowder and arms to keep them from the British. Paul Revere and some of the others were on their ride, letting know folks throughout the colony that the British were on their way. And these Minutemen the Minutemen. You've heard of them. They gathered on Lexington Green to try to protect and keep the British from taking the gunpowder and their munitions. And that was technically the first battle of the Revolution. And that's where the shot heard round the world was. So I may do that one as well. But I want to travel to these places first so that I can get some B-roll outside of these places. So this weekend I thought of doing it Saturday, but I think it's going to just be too busy because of the whole 4th of July thing. So, but we're going to be doing our best to bring you some content. So if there's something about the Revolutionary War or in that time frame that you want to see, and then we can do our Revolutionary Minute on, let me know. And we'll certainly we'll bring that to you, because I want, like I said, I want to make sure that you all get I want to make sure that you all get something to watch that you're going to enjoy. John Gaylor's here. Good morning, John. John says, have no plans at this time. The wife will tell me soon what I'm doing. I know that, my friend. I know how that works. I don't know if Colleen's working this Saturday. She probably is, so I'll probably be hanging out and celebrating at the Tiki Bar till she gets home, and enjoying some I'm trying to come up with a good term, some Liberty drinks. How's that? Paul says, excellent, just like the Marines were born in a tavern. That's right. And the Marines are, I think, in this country, it's either the Coast Guard, the National Guard or the Marine Corps are probably the oldest branch of the armed forces in the country. I'll have to research that. It's either the Marines or the National Guard. Scott says, my other job is working with churches on the safety for what to do in an active shooting scenario. Right on, Scott. That's awesome. Good for you. And Paul says, Crispus Attucks. Does anybody know who Crispus Attucks is? I do. He was a gentleman that he got killed in the Boston Massacre. I think he was the first one to get shot. And if you're familiar with the Boston Massacre, that happened in the winter, and a group of local citizens gathered and were harassing, if you will, some British troops that had gathered in Boston, and they were protesting the troops, and some kids were throwing snowballs at the British soldiers, and somehow, subsequently, a shot rang out, and several of the citizens were killed. Hence, the Boston Massacre was born. And I believe it was John Adams who was the defending lawyer for the British soldiers, and they were actually acquitted. He got them acquitted, and a lot of people weren't happy with John Adams because he was a citizen of Boston, but he defended these British soldiers, and they were acquitted. And like I said, a lot of people were not happy with him, but he was a man of the law, and the law, he defended the law, and that's how he got them off. It wasn't whether he agreed with what the British did or not, but he was using the law, and he wants everybody to be treated fairly and equitable, including your enemies as well. So there's a lesson in there somewhere, for sure. But so that's Crispus Attucks. And thank you for putting that up, Paul. I'm going to definitely do something on the Boston Massacre, too. Look at this. We're learning things. Always learning something in the morning. But I guess we're talking about history. And I wanted to bring up a little bit of history today. So there you have it. So let's do this. This Week in History. This Week in History. Thank you to our members. This Week in History is, I'm pushing switches and buttons and you name it. This Week in History is brought to you by our Etsy store. Check it out. Jen did put the link up there. Go over to our Etsy store and get yourself a patriotic t-shirt. We have more to come, but we're promoting our patriotic duty to not forget our history, our American history especially. So on this day in history, on June 29th, 1776, the Nancy explodes at the Battle of Turtle Gut Inlet. The Nancy explodes. On this day in history, the Nancy explodes at the Battle of Turtle Gut Inlet, a little-known early naval battle in the Revolutionary War, but one that was important to the career of the man who would be called the father of the American Navy, and that man is Captain John Barry. Early in the Revolution, Continental Congress Robert Morris chartered the brig Nancy to deliver arms to the Continental Army. Captain Hugh Montgomery traveled to the Caribbean, in the spring of 1776 and loaded tons of gunpowder and other supplies. Meanwhile, back in the colonies, the British had established a blockade of the Delaware Bay to prevent ships from supplying Philadelphia. John Barry was one of the first captains commissioned by the Continental Congress to command the ship in the Continental Navy. He was given command of the USS Lexington, which he first sailed on March 31st, 1776. Morris had sent word to Captain Barry that the Nancy would soon be approaching Philadelphia and would need protection from the blockade. Barry on the Lexington, along with the USS Reprisal, captained by Lambert Wicks, and the USS Wasp, captained by William Halleck, patrolled the mouth of the bay, waiting for the arrival of the Nancy. On June 28th, the three British ships blockade spotted the Nancy and gave pursuit. Signals were exchanged between the Nancy, spotters on shore, and the Lexington indicated the need for assistance. Through the night, the British continued pursuing the Nancy. Unable to enter the bay, Captain Montgomery turned into a small inlet called Turtle Gut Inlet, where the Nancy ran ashore in shallow water early in the morning of the 29th. The larger British ships were unable to pursue her but began bombarding the ship from a distance. Captain Barry ordered longboats from the Lexington, Reprisal and Wasp to go to the Nancy's rescue, where they began unloading the gunpowder and taking it to land, where it was hidden by locals. Part of Barry's men kept up the return of fire to prevent British longboats from getting near enough to board the ship. In a few hours, with 2/3 of the gunpowder unloaded and the Nancy seriously damaged from cannon fire, Barry ordered his men to abandon ship. As they left, he had them secure 50 pounds of gunpowder to the mainmast, tie it up with the mainsail, and run it down the side of the ship. The fuse was set alight as the crew abandoned the ship. Their last act was the removal of the flag from the mast. The British soldiers who were floating in longboats nearby saw the removal of the flag as an act of surrender and rowed toward the Nancy. Just as the first soldiers began to board the ship, the fire from the fuse reached the gunpowder. The powder on the deck and the 100 barrels of remaining in the hold caused a massive explosion, which could be heard all the way to Philadelphia, 80 miles away. The entire 7-man crew of the first British longboat was killed. The Battle of Turtle Gut Inlet brought Captain Barry to Congress's attention. He was congratulated for his bravery and ingenuity in securing the gunpowder and rescuing the crew of the Nancy. He would go on to capture over 20 British vessels during the war. After the Revolution, he would receive the U.S. Navy's first commission from President George Washington, making him Commodore John Barry. Due to his role in organizing the training, many of the first officers of the U.S. Navy, he is often called the father of the American Navy. So there you have it. That is what happened today. This Week in History. This week in history, especially during the Revolutionary War. So, and because it's almost Independence Day, you're going to be hearing a lot more of what happened during, before, during, and right after the American Revolution. Cheers to those folks. I'm saluting that flag behind us as well, because it's because of them that we can do that. Good morning, Billy from Bamanola Adventures. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. What did I miss here? Denise from Bone Tired Travelers is here. Good morning, Denise. Popping in from work. Incognito. Shh, we won't tell. Who else have I missed anybody? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. History with Jimmy, right? All right, let's see. Denise is having some dental issues, which, yeah, those are no fun. Very painful. I remember we were getting ready to go on our cruise in 20. And, man, I started getting this toothache. And I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't want to be on board ship suffering with a toothache. So I went to the dentist. And turns out I had to have a tooth pulled. So I had that pulled, and thank goodness, even though I had a hole in my gum, I didn't have to deal with having a toothache on board ship. So that worked out. Terry from Crazy Cat World, or Cat's Crazy World, is here. Good morning. Good to see you. Scott says, I have to look, but I may have pictures of when I recreated the Revolutionary War. The revolution wasn't popular. Only about 3% reportedly truly supported it. Yeah, there was a group of people back then. I'm not sure about the percentage. I'm not questioning you, Paul, but there was a group of loyalists. You know, you can't blame them. Propaganda from both sides, people try to believe. I mean, look at what's going on in the world today. A lot of propaganda, and back then it was no different, and there was a group of loyalists that did support. But as the revolution was born and it continued, they continued to get greater support for it. So, and thank God for that, because we do have our freedom today. And freedom is so important. Let's talk about freedom. Do you enjoy freedom? What does freedom mean to you? Freedom means a lot to me. One of the things is the freedom to be able to sit here and do this. Some people throughout the world don't have this luxury. They don't have the luxury of freedom to be able to pretty much do what they want. You know, the freedom to work at a job, the job that you want to do, or The freedom to sit down with your feet up at night with a beer, or the freedom to get in your car and go to the store or the flea market or go on vacation. Freedom. Freedom is important. Dictionary, it says that freedom is the condition of not being in prison or captivity. And there's a lot of definitions for freedom. The condition of being free of restraints, especially the ability to act without control or interference by another or by circumstances. I like having freedom. The freedom of not being controlled by another nation or political power and being able to have political independence. The condition of not being subject to a despotic or oppressive power. To be able to have civil liberty. We do enjoy civil liberties. We enjoy all of this. Not being constrained or restricted in a specific aspect of life by a government or other power. The condition of not being a slave, not being affected or restricted or by a given circumstance or condition. Not being bound by established conventions of rules. The captivity to act by choice rather than by determination, as far as from fate or a deity, to be able to have free will. And I can go on and on and on. There's so many definitions that basically talk about freedom. If you look at our nation's constitution, it's basically spelling out our freedoms, right? Have you read that? Have you read the Constitution? Have you read all the articles in the Bill of Rights? The Bill of Freedoms? It's important. It's important. I think you all should read that. If you've never read that, you should read it. Because every day we get to enjoy the freedoms that were given to us. People fought for them. That's why I celebrate that flag behind me every day. Because there's people before us that they had to do really hard things and they gave up a lot so that we can sit here and do basically what we want within reason. Have the freedom to do things like have a 4th of July cookout. Or like I said, get in the car and work at a job that you want to work at or don't work. Nobody says you have to work. Or to take the kids to Disney World. Or get on a cruise ship. We have the freedom to do a lot of things, but I think what we don't do is we don't think about how we got where we are. We don't think about the people that gave up so much because we take it for granted. It's easy to take things for granted. We're used to it. All of us here were born into freedom. Or I'm guessing that all of us were. Most of us were. If you were born here in the United States, you were born into freedom. Freedom is important. It shouldn't be taken for granted. So that's why I say you need to read the Constitution and read the Bill of Rights. Yeah, it could be a little boring. But if you read the words and you really think about what they mean, it's not so boring. Somebody had to sit down and think about those words to put on paper. Like the Declaration of Independence. How hard do you think that was for those guys to be able to do that? They had had enough of dealing with somebody's oppression. And every time they turned around, they were being either told what to do or what to pay. Part of the revolution was sparked because of money. The British government was trying to fix their budgeting woes by taxing the colonists, people that were at one time that were loyal to the British Crown. But they were being taxed unjustly. You've heard of taxation without representation? They had no representation in Britain. And the king said, the hell with them colonists. They live way over there. Let's just tax them. We're going to tax everything. We're going to tax their tea and their food and everything and tax them to death. And the colonists felt, well, we've lived here since the 1600s, even before. And we've been loyal British subjects, but what the heck does that king know about us? He's never even been here. He forgets about us, but then when he needs to pay the bills, he wants to charge us all of this money and these taxes and things without even having representation in Parliament to be able to at least discuss why they're being taxed. And they felt that they were being treated unfairly. They didn't have the freedom to be able to sit down and talk about it. And that's what sparked that revolution. People had had enough. You know, when you push somebody far, too far, something's bound to break. Terry says, Jimmy, these days our freedoms are slowly getting stripped from us. Do you people believe that? Got to look around us, see what's going on in our country. There's good people here. There's some people that remember the things that we were taught of how we gained our freedom. There's others that are trying to take it away, and we've seen that. Tearing down statues, trying to push their ideals and wipe out our own. It's really happening in this country, and this is why, one of the reasons why I'm talking about our freedoms. And the people that came before us that fought. So for us, they fought for us. Almost 250 years ago. That sounds like a long time ago. But think about where you're at in life, the age you're at. Think about how quickly that has gone by. 250 years is not that long ago. I like the country we have. In fact, I love the country we have. And I love the freedoms we have and the things that we get to do. And I don't want to give that up. I don't want to lose any of that. There are factions in the world that are jealous of this. They like power. And they would do anything to try to take that away from us. Us flag-waving, freedom-loving Americans. That's who I consider myself to be. Paul says, I love America. Be free and be a decent human being. I like to call the Bill of Rights the Bill of Limitations on government. And that's a good way to describe it, Paul. Because that's why they drew those up. To be able to limit the powers of the government. Right? It's we the people. We're supposed to be the ones that are able to decide for ourselves as a whole. You know, a lot of people throw around that word democracy. And I don't think they use it quite the way that it should be used. You know, they use it in a false manner. You know that this country, we're not technically a democracy. We're a democratic republic, and that's what our founding fathers, that's what they established us to be, was a democratic republic. And there's a difference. And I'm not going to go into the whole difference, but if you're interested in that, look it up, because that's what we are. We're a democratic republic. So as we approach this 4th of July, think about why we're doing it. You know, I talked about this during Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the official start of summer, right? That's what we call it. People take their first summer vacation and they go to the beach and they have cookouts and all of that. And we do the same thing for the 4th of July, although I think we need to do more. We've lost touch with our Independence Day. You know, there's people that want to tear down Mount Rushmore. Are you kidding me? I mean, they're pulling down statues of Abraham Lincoln and Robert E. Lee, and they're changing names of military bases. They're trying to erase our history because they're trying to push their ideals. I'm trying to get my point across without getting too political. I don't want to get political because I try not to do that on this channel. Because we all have the freedom to think that the way we want. For now. But there's something out there that I read recently, and it's a list of things on this manifesto. And it's basically the directions on how to break down a democratic republic. Find that list and read it. And then compare that to what we're seeing today in our society. There are factions out there that want to destroy your freedom. The freedom to sit here and talk about the things that we do and the things that we love. I think you should look up that manifesto. Look it up. And we can talk about it in a later class. But I'm very passionate about this, as you are well aware. And I think it's important that we all either reintroduce ourselves to how our country was started and why, or learn about them, because they're not teaching this in our school. They're not. And it's up to us to make sure that the ones that come after us realize the things that the ones before us sacrificed so that we can do this. So as we go into this Independence Day weekend, think about it. Think about that stuff and pass it on. So it's one of the reasons why I do a Revolutionary Minute, because I don't want people to forget. It's important. So without getting too deep and all of that, I just want to get my point across. Sharon's telling us we have a notification from Eddie Lugo. He's up at 7:15 today. We'll go over to Eddie's after our stream here today, as always, and we'll say hi to him and good day, and tell him that Jimmy, the astute tourist, sent you guys over to say hi. Mr. Tranquillo was here. Hello, Mr. Tranquillo. How are you, my friend? I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. And Ms. Scott's calling him Mr. T. I love that. I think about him. See him on the deck, the helm of his sailboat with his Mr. T starter kit on, and He's going to pity the fool that won't let him sail. I pity the fool that won't let me sail. There is the symbol of our great nation, the bald eagle. And we learned yesterday that the bald eagle was taking on I forget what year, I think 2009. June 28, 2009, the bald eagle was taking off the endangered list of endangered species, which is a great thing. Have you seen any bald eagles where you live? I've seen them here, right in my own town. They live down around the lake. Law Jones says, shocking to know there are areas in the U.S. that have no law, with courts or self-appointed judges that have no law degrees and still think the earth is flat. Right? Thank you, Mr. Tranquillo. I want you to enjoy your coffee as well, or whatever you're drinking at this time. I know it's afternoon where you are, but it is morning here on the East Coast of the United States, and for the most part, it's morning everywhere in the United States. Just depends on the time. It's 51 minutes past the hour 6 o'clock EST. If you're on the West Coast, it is 51 minutes past 3 a.m. and then 2 a.m. And then 4 a.m. and 5 a.m., depending on where you are in the U.S. Scott says, no eagles here, but loads of hawks. Terry, I don't know how Kenny is doing. We had Kenny in last week. He was up on the panel, and he seems to be doing great. He's a little jet setter these days. He's been traveling around. He was just at the Oregon meetup, the O23, and I believe is it the M23. And you guys, I don't know if you know, but you can probably help me out. The M23, I think, is coming up, and Kenny may be going to that as well. There's been some crazy weather going around in the United States. It's hot, tornadoes, rain. So I'm not sure how Michigan is faring. I know that our good friend Jen is saying that it's pouring rain out there in Chicagoland. So the weather around the Great Lakes may be kind of nasty. Terry says plenty of bald eagles in Eufaula, Alabama, just 45 minutes from a lake. Has the same name with plenty of bald eagles and nests. That's awesome. Paul says the earth is flat. People from all around the world agree. What do you think, folks? Is the earth flat or is it round? Some would argue that. There's a lot of stuff that people seem to be arguing these days. Did we really go to the moon or did we not? Some people call NASA an acronym for not a straight answer. Some would say you get up in a plane and you can't see the curvature of the horizon. It looks flat. I don't know. I don't know what to think. If it is flat, has anybody sailed off the edge of the world? From all, Allah says, from all around the world, right? I don't know. Paul says that was a joke. I know you were joking, my friend. And I was kind of carrying that joke on. But there are people that think the world is flat. They used to. They used to think it was flat, and they believed it. Some people think that there's that at the North Pole. Have you heard of this one? Some people think that at the North Pole there is a giant hole in the earth where there's a whole nother civilization that lives down in there, and it has its own atmosphere and everything. I don't know. I've never been to the North Pole. I've never flown over the North Pole. I don't know. What I do find crazy, and we talked about this the other day, is in Antarctica, right? The South Pole. You're not allowed to go there without special permission. Planes don't fly over it. Next time you're thinking about it, and if you want to, look at the courses that planes fly. They're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. Why is that? There's this big treaty that the country said that nobody can go there. Only to do research and science. Not many people are allowed to go. I don't know why. They don't really tell us. They say they want to protect the environment, I think. They don't want people drilling for oil there or digging up gold. That's right, Paul. You and I got to get together, man. We got to sit down and have a couple drinks. Because you are certainly a student of history as well. Elmer Bird has some thoughts on Antarctica and the North Pole, right? I've read those. I've read some of his notes. He said there's a giant wall of earth there. Or ice, rather. A giant wall of ice. And his secret mission that he took down there, it was called Operation High Jump. Why would they call it that? Why didn't they call it like Operation South Pole or Operation something? I don't know. My good friends are reminding me we're getting close to the hour. I appreciate you all. Thank you for letting me rant. You've given me the freedom to rant, and I appreciate that. Hope you all have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We may be walking tomorrow because the weather seems to be clearing up. But don't forget PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. PMA will definitely save your day. Please believe me when I tell you that it'll change your life. It really works. I am living proof that it works. So take a positive attitude every day, and it'll push the negativity away. Don't forget to say a prayer and a thank you to our first responders, the men and women of the police department, the fire department, the healthcare workers, all of the people that are out there 24/7 working selflessly to keep us safe and healthy. Same goes for our men and women of the armed forces. They're on that proverbial wall protecting us every day. So thank a veteran. Think about the ones that came before us, the ones that the folks, when we were talking about this, that have protected that flag, the good old red, white, and blue. Don't forget to make a difference in somebody's day. Just a smile, a kind word, that's all it takes. You can change their day for the better. Change their day, change the week, change their life. Guys, I appreciate you all. Don't forget to go over to Eddie Lugo's when we're done here, about 7:15, but he always starts a little bit early. So go over and tell him Jimmy sent you. Give him a raid and say hi from me. I'll be on the road driving. But thanks to everybody. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I want to wish everybody peace and love from deep down, way deep down in my heart. You guys have a good day. We'll see you later.